Right, good evening ladies and gentlemen, we are back here tonight at Portugal for, oh shit, there we go. Right, we'll start that again. Good evening ladies and gentlemen, I forgot I wasn't in a party, that is my bad. We are here back at Portugal for round 11 here in Tier 2, an interesting race at Australia. Late drama with a safety car led to PSR Wexro getting a surprising win in Tier 2 last night at Australia. Putting on those soft tyres late on came to be the deciding factor in that race, and it does shift around the championship standings a little bit. So, our championship leader, as it stands, is PSR Boots on 137 points, followed by Wexro, who has climbed up to second place from fourth, is now on 108 points. So it's an AlphaTauri 1-2. Shazu Piccolo setting the fastest lap on the medium tyres, I believe that is. And it is indeed. So, as I continue on, M Racer in a close third place after a good result at Australia, getting second place. He's just behind the Englishman of Wexro on 106. Then it's Cypher in fourth, Finn in fifth, who's away on holiday today, Noctix in sixth, Fern in seventh, Smokey in eighth, Silas in ninth, and Shazu Assam in 10th. So it's an interesting top 10 as it stands. This track is an interesting one, and that is FRT Venom going fastest overall, and then it's M Racer who topples him with a 116.475. The mediums are quite a nice racing tyre to start on. The strategies will be a very key point here tonight. We saw that in the WRPC one on Sunday. Some of the soft runners pitting extremely early for the hard compounded tyres. So keep that in mind. We could see a variety of strategies here tonight, and the weather could play a key role in that as well. Shazu Smokey setting a blistering lap time of 116.195. We're on board with the championship leader, who's invalidated his first run already, so we'll be looking to get that out the way. Cypher already invalidated as well, the former man in second in the championship, as well as Silas, the Aston Martin, down in P12. All invalidated at this moment in time. But so far, all the drivers just looking to get a lap on the board. Settle down, get in the rhythm will be the key part for some of these drivers here tonight. Portugal tends to have the drivers overheat their tyres more than anything here tonight. So keep that in mind. We could see a few spins. The double right-hander in the middle sector in particular will be one to watch out for, where many of the drivers do tend to struggle. So keep that in mind for that one, for the drivers losing the rear end potentially. Going on board with the AlphaTauri of PSR Boots. Now, driver looking to pick up some form after losing out recently to his rivals around him. The championship is starting to become a lot closer now as the season has progressed. We mentioned it a couple of weeks ago with Callum, who's unfortunately not here tonight due to some exams. So good luck to the Scotsman there. But yeah, we mentioned it. After the week break, the form has started to fade away for Boots. He's picked up a win here and there, but overall the results have not gone his way. So the AlphaTauri man will be looking to put his name on the map here at the moment, and really start to pick up that dominant form at the start of the season when nobody could get close to him. The Englishman now flying around the final corner. He'll be looking to set a blistering lap time to put him up on the front row at least, to challenge CTM Rizzi, and that is a nice lap time in P3 for the championship leader. Rizzi I've not been aware of before, so he's a new driver potentially on the grid, which we've got to keep our eye on here tonight, unless he has already raced, which I'm not too aware of. But please, anybody keep me up to date with that. I'll get the standards up actually, see if he has raced before, and according to this, he has not. So yeah, it's a new driver making his debut here tonight. You never know what can happen on a driver on debut. special things can happen. We saw that with Shizu. I forgot his name now. Shizu Rusty. He had a special debut here in Tier 2, getting a pole position. Unfortunately, wasn't able to capitalise on that pole, and unfortunately didn't pick up any points at Bahrain when he did make his debut. All the drivers in the pit lane at the moment, so gives us an opportunity to settle down and watch out for some of these drivers. But that's a really impressive lap time from Rizzy at this moment in time. Smokey coming out the pit lane now. Did do 2 laps on those soft tyres, so keep that in mind. Could really affect his starting compound if he is to fail to improve. Hello, Smokey. Oh, so Rizzy was a former NX driver. Alright, thank you very much, Fresh. I think you'll be taking some notes potentially to sign this former NX driver if he can pick up some form like he is at the minute with that good pole position. So we'll have to keep that in mind. A few drivers now on out laps. PSR Extra, the man in 2nd place in this Tier 2 championship, has really just crept out of nowhere at this moment in time. But that's credits to Extro. We got to give him credit where it's due, because he's not been the man who's got consistent podiums, but he's been a man who's got consistent points this season, and that is what you really need to do if you want to be in a championship fight. And Wexro has done that superbly this season, and that is why, to be credit to him, he's in 2nd place, and he deserves to be in 2nd place, and he's got all right to fight his teammate. Could you imagine the scenes if the PSR owner beats the PSR driver? Could come down to the final race of the season. We're picturing it now, and the fireworks will be going off. You never know what might happen here in Tier 2. It's a thrilling season, and it's really starting to spice up near the end. Silas said purple first sector already, so it's looking like he is on a flyer so far. Approaching turns 6 and 7 now, down to turn 8 through this double right-hander where a lot of drivers tend to struggle. Bit of oversteer on the exit there, but catches it quite nicely through turns 9 now, and 10 and 11. The double right-hander once again does get a very, very nice exit indeed through turns 12, and now approaching turn 13. This is where some drivers tend to drift out wide, use up all the curb on the exit, which he does quite nicely now through to the long right-hander again of turn 14. The left side of the tyres will be screaming out in agony at this moment in time, where they start to reach up to 104, 105 degrees, and now approaching the line is Silas to go P4. Not bad indeed. Go on board with the man in 2nd place off Wexro. What can he do? It's only enough for P5 for now for the AlphaTauri man. Jazzy Smokey, he's looking to improve, up by 0.2. That's a spin for Smokey there, and that's what I mean by the tyres starting to get a little bit too hot for him to handle. Do you think it's coming home in the World Cup? We'll have to wait and see, won't we? Rizzy improving at the minute. The pad man, I believe he is, judging by his inputs. And now through turn 13, approaching turn 14 and 15 now. This is where he's got to keep calm. The Alfa Romeo slightly off-put him there. Tends not to take much of that curb. Now approaching the final corner of turn 15. Going to keep a tight line. No, I think he's backed off this lap, if I'm not mistaken. He has indeed. Not happy with that one. Staff Legend improves to P2. Shazoo Sam goes up into P3. Few drivers start to improve now. M Racer goes up into P6. Akos up into P8. Wexo dropping down the order. Maybe this track isn't a comfortable one for the PSR man. FRT Tom invalidated. Cypher in P12 at the minute. He's going to want to improve on that one. Approaching turn 5 now. There's long hairpin. Tends for the drivers to really understeer mid-apex, but he's nailed that quite nicely now through turn 6, 7 and 8, using all the curb available. Boots the championship leader, goes fast as well, 1:15.925. Very good lap time indeed. Now through turn 9, 10 and 11 goes Cypher, the Alfa Romeo, smooth as butter through there, and that is quite nicely done from the Alfa Romeo driver, the American, looking to improve, and at the moment he's looking likely, using all that curb on that left hand side. Doesn't unsettle the car, which is quite surprising, but gets on the power quite nicely. Keeps a tight line to this right hand side, making sure not to spin, which a few drivers might do here tonight, so keep that in mind. Now up to the line, it's going to be a 16 flat, so PSR 1-2 with the American just behind the Englishman, and that is quite nicely done from Cypher. Anybody on a lap time? It is TTM Lurch. He has got quite good history around this track in terms of other league performances, and it is enough for P7 for the Mercedes man. 2 laps on those softs. He'll be wanting to get on some fresh ones and get rid of those ones, because you do not want to start on old softs around here. That is for sure. But we've got to appreciate this grid's quality at the minute. Venom going up into P4. Quite nicely done there from the Haas man. But we've got to appreciate this quality of the grid at the minute. How close the top 10 is at the minute. It's actually really, really tight. Nothing separating anybody at this moment in time. 3 tenths separating the top 10. And that is quite remarkable for a grid of this depth as well. 17 drivers tonight. But I'm sure the action will still just be as good as if we had the full 20. At the moment, though, it is the AlphaTauri, the championship leader of Boots, looking to extend his current form of victories here tonight. He's picked up quite a few this season. I'm pretty sure he has the most. Of course, he has the most. He has a whopping 4 wins this season, the most of anybody in this tier, of course. Otherwise, they'd be a bit closer to PSR Boots. But the last man to dethrone him was Rexro at Australia, and he's all the way down in P12. So maybe Rexro is track reliant. Who knows? Or he just hasn't put as much practice as he did for Australia. We'll have to wait and see. Or this could be tactical from PSR Rexro. You just never know with that man. On board with Smokey now. Is going to look to improve from P5, and he does. P7, sorry, and he does invalidate through the first corner, which is a shame for the Englishman. Now he's going to have to go on this long out lap. Cool down the tyres, make sure not to use up too much wear. This is seeming to be a trend for quite a few of these drivers at this moment in time. Missing that turn 1 apex, which is so crucial to gaining as much time as possible. If you're avoiding it, you're losing around half a tenth to a tenth potentially. It is that vital. You're going to want to skim it, not fully ride it, but just skim it to get the car rotated through, get that perfect line, and scrub off as much time as possible. So these 2 drivers, Suzu Smokey and FRA Silas, they're the ones on a flying lap, but unfortunately backed off. And now M Racer is on a lap, and oh my goodness me, that must have been off-putting for the German. And now he's got another driver in front of him off Cypher. He's going to need to get out of the way very quickly, unless a potential stewards inquiry for blocking could be on his way. The Alfa Romeo does nicely get out of the way there, up by a tenth and a half. A much better first sector there for the German of M Racer 9, who's really going to look to build on some momentum now. A solid P2, unfortunately didn't get the race win after the stewards inquiry from Rexro for getting an unfair 5-second penalty. He'll be looking to finally claim his maiden win here in Tier 2 tonight, and that is a goal of his. We've spoken about it several times, but it's just not gone his way at the moment. Still improving through the middle sector now, through turns 13 and now approaching turn 14, using not as much curb as some of the drivers, which is interesting because he's much smoother and not really pushing the tyre temperatures as hard as everybody else. And that's down to his driving style more than anything compared to some other drivers around him. Now up to the line, what can M Racer do? Tends to not keep the tight line. It's enough for P2, and that's a much better lap time there for the German. Now we go on board with TTM Resi through the final corner now. Will this be enough for pole position? It's looking likely, but it's unfortunately just behind PSR Boots, and he will not have enough time to go again here. That is a real shame, but what an effort from TTM Resi on his debut here tonight. PSR Boots, he's going to need to get out of the way here unless he is on a flyer, which he is. Cypher has done an unfortunate error of starting his lap way too close to his championship rival in front of him. So he's going to be getting some dirty air, which is certainly going to be putting off his lap time at this moment in time. Now through turns 6, 7 and 8, and Boots getting out of the way now, but it's unfortunately an invalidation for Cypher, but it's Shazoo Smokey which gets pole position out of absolutely nowhere. The man who's down in P7 now on the front row. Great job from the Shazoo driver. That is a phenomenal effort indeed. South Legend, unfortunately, not able to improve. Gonna go on board with Wexshow. Actually, no, he's just improved enough for P7. Shazoo Sam through the final corner now. He's gonna, unfortunately, not improve. But it's TTM Lurch! Oh my goodness me! He's pulled it out of the bag. It is TTM Lurch on provisional pole here in Portugal. I mentioned it at other leagues. He's a great qualifier around here. I warned you, and my prediction, in a way, has come true. Can he build this momentum now? The man who's had a horrid season here in Turn 2 is provisional pole at the moment, but there's still drivers improving around him. So, never say never. But at the moment, it's looking likely for TTM Lurch to get a maiden pole position here tonight at Portugal. And I believe, ladies and gentlemen, Cypher is able to go again. He's managed to creep around this track just enough. So maybe, just maybe, PSR Cypher could spoil the party for TTM Lurch. Silas on an outlap, as unfortunately just got out of the way just in time. 2/10 up. Could this be enough with a good final sector? Could the American steal the party for the Englishman? We'll have to wait and see. He chucked his car through turn 14 very nicely on the Paro as well. Now taking a wide line to get a tight line through turn 15. This could be the American on pole position. He could break TTM Lurch's heart, and up to the line he does. It is Cypher on pole position. Wow, what a lap time indeed. A 1 minute 15.763. TTM Lurch will be gutted by that, but what an incredible lap time that was by Cypher, stealing it right at the death. I thought he wouldn't have had enough time, but he proved me wrong. Congratulations, what a lap time that was from the American, who steals it at the death. But crucially for Lurch, he only did 1 lap on those soft tyres compared to Cypher's 2. So keep that in mind. Boots actually managed to get around as well at the end there. Goes up into P3. My goodness me, what has gone on there? So they must have just had enough time. Could have been a timing glitch on my behalf, which is a real shame. But wow, what an effort from the 2 PSR guys. And this is going to be a thrilling race. The time's so close from the top 5 in particular here. We have got a race on our hands here, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. I did not expect that here tonight. With that kind of qualifying, Lurch, at probably one of his favourite tracks after that qualifying performance, is on the front row for the first time, I believe, this season. A cracking job. But it's Cypher. Oh my god, the mic fell off my head. There we go, Cypher on pole position. With TTM Lurch in a stunning P2. Best qualifying of the season for him, with PSR Boots in P3, with Smokey in P4. We thought that could have been enough for pole position, but nope, not this time around. TTM Rizzy on his Tier 2 debut, I believe, in P5, with Rev Caterpillar in P6, M-Racer in P7, Venom in a promising P8, with Wexo, the race winner from last week, down in P9, South Legend in P10. But it's an interesting bottom half of the field, so don't count anybody out outside the top 10, but I believe the main strategy is the one to be on, which is the soft medium or the soft hard, depending on how early people pit. So it seems to me it's going to be dry. I haven't been informed if it is going to be wet for the race here tonight. We'll have to see how this all plays out. Smoky, inspirational stuff indeed. So as we wait for the drivers to form up and the grid load in, we'll have to wait and see. Oh my god. I thought I was just the wet weather, but never mind. But yeah, see, I'm just going to ask the drivers here, any rain for the race? Since I don't have a colleague here tonight, I've got to do everything myself, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll wait for the drivers to load in. I usually do my predictions here with Callum, but unfortunately Callum's not here tonight. So I'll leave it to you in the chat here tonight. Who do you think the top 3 will be? It's going to be an interesting one. It's all the drivers are mixed up. Former race winners down lower than what we expected from them. Rev Caterpillar in a promising P6. One of his best qualifying performance again this season as well. So it could go anywhere here tonight. Some of these drivers, Silas as well. Remember, he won. Unfortunately didn't win actually at his home Grand Prix, I don't believe, after Cypher stealing at the death. So more heartbreak from Cypher, stealing more people's hearts from maiden glory. But that is what the American is good at this moment in time. So as it stands, we'll wait for them all to load in for this Portuguese Grand Prix. Few drivers going for the medium tyres outside the top 10 as expected. But they will struggle to keep up with the soft runners through the first 3 laps. But if they are able to keep within the DRS range, they could certainly have a very good chance of winning this race. Because DRS is so crucial around Portugal. Because the ERS usage, you do not get anything back here. So being in that train is going to be absolutely vital for some of these drivers to win this, have any chance of winning this race here tonight. As well as that, we'll be managing the tyres. Being able to keep them in a right temperature will be absolutely crucial for some of these guys. We'll wait for them to hopefully ready up. Hopefully there's no glitches on anybody's ends. I think they're just waiting on Boots to give the OK signal, and then we'll be going. No rain. Okay. Just cloudy. Alright, sweet. Thank you very much, Crispy. Hopefully the drivers decide to press A, because I don't want to have to waffle too long. But I'll remind everybody of the championship standings as it stands. It is PSR Workshop who leads the championship on 100. Not PSR Workshop, PSR Boots. So I'm getting ahead of myself potentially of what could happen here tonight with a miracle or two. PSR Boots does lead on 137 points, followed by PSR Workshop on 108. The 2 Alpha Tauris absolutely dominating at this moment in time, with N-Racer in 3rd on 106. So down in P7, he'll be looking to get a good result from there. Cypher, the man in 4th, now on a current pole position. He'll be looking to gain on Boots here tonight. Followed by that, it's Finn in 5th, who's not racing. Noctix in 6th, who I believe is also not racing. Yep, Shazoo Noctix not racing again. So that's a shame for him. Fern, again, he's having a break from racing, so he's not racing. Suzu Smokey, unfortunately didn't get pole, but with a stunning lap time, was enough for P4. Silas, down in P12, is P9 in this championship, with Shazoo Sam in P10. So, this is where things will get interesting here, ladies and gentlemen. It could go any way for anybody, anyone. Turn 1 will be a key move for some of these drivers, making those late dives down the inside, possibly. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm expecting drama. Lap 1, turn 1. That is for sure. So get the popcorn ready, because it is going to get very tasty very quickly here tonight. So as they approach the middle sector through turns 9, 10 and 11 now, they'll be looking to keep their tyres a bit cooler than what they usually do. I think they'll be wanting to get their tyres around the 85 to 87 area. I don't think they'll want to warm them as hot as they usually do, to keep them just as low as possible for the first opening laps, to really maximise the life expectancy on these softs, because you do not want to overheat these tyres that quickly, because if you do, you'll struggle. So that'll be a key factor for some of these drivers here tonight, making sure not to overheat and making sure not to get any damage, because you don't want to be doing that either here tonight. So, wait for the drivers to form up on the grid now. Put your predictions down in the chat room. Who do you think could win this race? I'll put the tyre details on for everybody outside at home, so you all know. But it's interesting. Keep in mind, Akos is on the soft tyres outside the top 10, so look for him at the start. Wait for him to maybe make some early moves at the opening phase of this race. Same with Shazoo Sam, he's also on those soft tyres. Who do I think will win? I'm going to go very, very bold. I feel like it's going to be TTM Resi who's going to win here tonight. It's going to be a big incident. Right, so we've got 1 light, we've got 2 lights, we've got 3 lights, we've got 4, and we've got 5 red lights here at Portugal. And it's lights out, and away we go. And it seems to me that Cypher has got a great, great start. Lurch having to slop in behind. He's not going to go for that move into turn 1 just yet. Pierce on base goes down the inside though. And unfortunately, he has lost out to Smokey. Easily done from P4. What a move down the inside from the Mercedes man. Rev Caterpillar and Rizzy find it out through turns 4 and 5. Quite nicely done there, but it's Rev Caterpillar up into P5. FLT Venom going side by side with Rizzy, and he falls back down the order. Oh my goodness me, Silas already up into P6. Oh my goodness me, what a start from the Aston Martin. He's drifted sideways. Oh my god, what a big accident that was. FLT Tom, FLT Venom are all out. What has just gone on there? I have never seen anything like that before. Piers on Wectro down outside the top 10. Wow, oh wow, what a dramatic start here in tier 2, opening lap 1. I did say to get the popcorn here, ladies and gentlemen, and if you didn't have it, I think if you're eating time, you would have been spitting them out right now in pure shock. That was dramatic to say the least. M Racer down to P14, have an absolutely horrible start there. Must have got involved in some kind of accident, for sure. That was quite interesting from Silas there. Really, really aggressive. For me, that was over the top there from the Aston Martin, but doing what he needed to do. But unfortunately, has gotten himself some wing damage on this opening lap, and quite a few drivers pitting already. So, could we see some of these drivers opt for the hard tyres? They might have watched the Tier 1 race and decided to follow for that same strategy. And that is what the man on pole decided to do, and it's been massively held. Bit of lag on our end. But yeah, Cypher decides to pit for the hard tyres and is going to try and make it last to the end. It's doable, but will it be possible for some of these guys? Then remember, some of these drivers are not at that esports level. So yeah. Interesting to say the least. Bold strategy calls from some of these guys. M Racer having to do something like that after that disappointing start. Nothing to lose. His WR teammate of Saab Legend as well into the pit lane in P14. Nicely done from the Aston Martin and the Williams driver. But good decisions from the guys in the top half of the field. Who decided to pit. I feel like it probably will be the right choice. The question is, will they be able to keep within the DRS range of Piccolo on the mediums? Certainly is possible for some of these guys, so we'll have to wait and see if Piccolo can manage to keep up with the likes of Wextro and all those other drivers. But it gives the likes of Fingerboys, SLR Oz, really good chances of having a really good result here tonight on their alternate strategy. So keep that in mind, it could all go in a different way that we could not have even predicted ourselves. But as at the moment, it is TTM Lurch who is leading the way at the front on his soft tyres, followed by his Mercedes teammate of Smokey. This will be interesting between these two guys in particular, as there are 1-2, and they'll be fighting for the pit stops. Really, who pits first, who pits second. So beating the first car, first man in front, will be crucial for one of these guys for when they are planning on pitting. So they'll have to make sure one of them either's going to have to go for the undercut or overcut, but prior experiences here, the overcut can work well, as having the better tyres near the end can certainly play a really good factor at the end of this race. So yeah, at the moment it is Akos in third place, looking to really keep where he is, because and maybe make his way further up the field. Good start from P14, I believe it was. So he's looking to make up some more places. It was P13, but it's been a thrilling start for the Alpine driver. At this moment in time, it is Fingerboy in a promising P4, with Rizzy in P5, SR Oz in P6, Pizza Wextro down in P7. I think it's actually up from P7, but it could have been a bit higher if it wasn't for that massive weird bit of contact with the Aston Martin. So the safety car is in this lap. Piccolo did decide to pit. Silas on fresh mediums, he'll have to pit again if he was going to want to make it to the end of this race, that is for sure. Lurch dictating the pace. Be interesting to see when he goes, because the straight is extremely long, so he won't want to risk losing the lead into turn 1. Maybe he might do what Barry Borman did in Tier 1 on Sunday and leave it as late as possible, as we wait for Lurch to dictate when he is going to go, weaving left and right there, and he is gone now, using that ERS at the right time, gets a nice gap to his Mercedes colleague, and it's Akos who's actually going to be applying the pressure to the Mercedes man. Smokey looking to warm up his tyres, seeming to struggle on the outlap there before the safety car restart. It is Rizzy who keeps in front, and that is Rev Caterpillar getting the elbows. Oh my goodness me, we're 3 wide into turn 2. Surely a car going to be spinning around. No, the 3 drivers keeping their cars on the track. Absolutely magnificent racing between the 3 of them. Peter Booth comes out on top. SLR Odds has gone down to P9. Rev Caterpillar going to make an absolutely outrageous effort around the outside, and he has pulled that off. The Alpine driver on a mission. That was simply breathtaking there from the Alpine driver. Is that Shazoo Sam going to go down the inside? No, but at the moment it seems to me that SLR Oz is a sitting duck at this moment in time. Maybe didn't get his tyres into that optimum window on this restart, because the mediums are certainly a lot quicker than Sam. Looking down the inside there, having to back out of it, but at the moment in time it's all a bit of stalemate at this moment. M Racer in P13 right now, looking to get into the rhythm on these hard tyres. Certainly a tyre I don't think he would have opted for. Same with the likes of everybody else actually, with that early safety car. I think they were more forced into it rather than anything. But at the moment, Embracer has actually got wing damage. What a disaster for the Williams man. This race has gone bad to worse, and Silas, oh dearie me, I think he got caught up with M-Racer there. That's a real shame for the pair of them there, both getting damage as a result. Rizzy unfortunately going in very, very deep at this moment in time. Wextro applying all types of pressure to the Red Bull man. AlphaTauri versus Red Bull, Pierre Gasly versus Max Verstappen, and that is a very, very nice move from PSR Rexo, the man in P2, looking to close down that gap to Boots, who's down in P8. But remember, he's already done that pit stop and looking to make those hards last to the very, very end here. At the moment, it's Cypher doing a really good job. And that is another driver round, and that is SRL Odds, who has gone spinning round. I think a bit of contact between him and Shizu Piccolo. That's really unfortunate there. Fingerboy getting a penalty, and that is a real shame for his race, as he was in a really good position to pick up some big points here tonight. But you never know, it might not be over, and it could have been a glitch for the Williams driver. But at the moment, the American Cypher doing a really good job to keep up with these medium and soft runners. Crucially, the RS should be re-enabled this lap. Lurch setting some blistering lap times now at 1:19.409 for the Mercedes man. 6/10 is the gap between him and his colleague, and he's got a very good battery as well to back it up for that matter. Smokey following 6/10 behind. Akos as well, doing a good job to keep with these guys at this moment in time. The soft certainly looking to be in a nice condition, nice window at this moment, but fortunately Wextro has been forced into using some of that battery, and he'll be looking to save up now as he closes down between that 6/10 window to really get that slipstream effect to where he can save. But he has to be patient, doesn't want to force anything on to himself, because you don't want to be making mistakes around this circuit, because that is not very pleasant to say the least. Fortunately, Rizzy has dropped backwards down the field. I believe he is really having a similar situation to what ET Rusty had on his debut. Really good one-lap qualifying pace, but new to maybe no assists. And really starting to get a good understanding. But he's driving really, really well for his first debut here tonight, here in Tier 2. And this will give him a lot of confidence to be fighting some of the best here in Tier 2. And again, Suzu Smokey now starting to apply the pressure as he goes to the inside line now. Suzu Smokey gets in front of his Mercedes colleague. Easy as you like. Lurch does not put up any kind of fight there. And Smokey now into the race lead at this moment in time. Really nicely done between the two. Will Lurch go back at it though? 3/10 is the gap now, but unfortunately not close enough. Didn't opt to use some of that battery which he had stored there. Cypher doing a good job at this moment in time, keeping within the DRS range of Fingerboy, but he's going to want to close down that gap and really make a move early as M Racer now sets the fast lap of the race, really pushing hard to really just hope for a miracle, another safety car, but unfortunately for him, I don't think it's really that likely at this moment in time. The Cypher staying close behind the Williams rear end. You can see red light was flashing, now down to 13, now 11% for the Williams man. So it's not looking good at this moment in time for Fingerboy, but he's going to need to get within that DRS range of Rizzy if he wants any hope of having some kind of good result here tonight. 7/10 is the gap between PSR Boots and Cypher, the two rivals for the championship at the moment. Smokey again setting another fastest lap. He is really pushing his Mercedes to the absolute limit now, down to 24% for Smokey, and he's going to have to watch that ERS because at the moment Lurch is in a really good position here to win this race, as the most ERS out of anybody on the track. And he's looking comfortable here, Lurch. This is a different kind of Lurch, which we have not seen all season. Can you keep the gap to the leader? Yes, I can. There you go. But yeah, Smokey is really in a nice position. Same with Lurch. I think they'll try and work together more than anything at this moment in time. But Smokey's got to really be aware of the ERS difference between the two here. Because it seems to me we've seen a new animal of TTM Lurch. Got that confidence around this track, and this could maybe start to build up some form, which he so needs for this rest of the season after such a disappointing Tier 2 season. One of the favourites probably for the title, so he was this season, but unfortunately just hasn't gone his way. Akos now down to 11%, 1.3 seconds behind, so we'll now see Lurch and actually no, that's the gap to the leader, but yeah, 1.3 seconds is the gap between them. Wextro is falling backwards, just about staying within the detection point of that 1 second range. Got to be careful. That'll certainly be a warning for the PSR owner. On board with Cypher now. He's a lot closer to Fingerboy in these last few laps. Go back to the interval just so I can keep up with the gaps. I'll switch it every few laps so you keep informed on the gap and whatnot between the pair. And at this moment in time, it's a bit thrilling to see this midfield all battling it out. Sarv Legend struggling at this moment in time in P11. He'll be looking to get up the field as soon as he can, following close behind of Shizu Sam, who's now got no battery left. That is something I did warn the guys about. Got to make sure to manage that ERS because you do not get anything back around this Portuguese circuit. Something that I think Codemasters probably should work on for the future games. I know it does have that element of tactical decision thinking, but when you get nothing back, there really is no element of fighting, because you'll have to just work together for 20 odd laps and then maybe fight for when the pit stop phase is about. But at the moment, Lurch is doing that job of saving the battery, really not put up too much of a fight. And as I say that, Cypher now makes a move down the inside of Fingerboy, and this is where it's going to be interesting. Oh my god, Cypher! Oh my goodness me, Fingerboy making contact with Cypher. Just how broke himself there. That was not an intentional move from Fingerboy. Just caught himself and had to make a move to the inside, and that's really sort of helped the likes of PSR Boots and now being in that DRS range. Not having to overtake a car. So now Boots is really going to be quite thankful for Fingerboy there for forcing that mistake on him. At this moment in time, the leaders are in a class of their own. 5 tenths between the pair of them. Akos now down to 1.3, legitimately from the back of TTM Lurch. At this moment in time, it's quite interesting to see how this will all play out for the soft runners in particular. Remember, they do have to pit once again to make it to the end. So you never know how this might play out for some of these guys. The hard runners are certainly in a great position, but we saw in, again, Tier 1 on the weekend, on the PC side, that the drop-off is very significant, and they are very close to punch territory. So you never know. TTM Lurch did make a move down the inside of Shazoo Smokey, as I was explaining that. Not surprising to say the least, as now Smokey is down to 13% on the battery, and that is a Ferrari that has gone spinning around of SLR Oz. PSR Wextra making the first pit stop for the medium tyres, going to try and make it to the end from here. So it'll be interesting to see. Can Lurch pull away now? That is the question. Off Shazoo Smokey, he's got the battery, but Lurch is thinking like he's a proper race winner in the making here. He'll be looking to think of saving that battery, and eventually he shall just glide away, because the DRS advantage is highly significant around this track. So just saving the battery and working together with your teammate will definitely benefit him in the long run. We've got some TTM fans in the chat. I'm sure they'll be looking for Lurch to pull off the victory here tonight. And that is Smokey diving into the pit and potentially covering off the undercut from PSR Wexro. We'll have to wait and see where Rexo comes out in all of this. He could have undercutted Smokey, you never know. But a bit optimistic, I would say, for that to really happen. So we'll stick on board with Rexo. And Smokey just coming to the end of the pit lane now. Wexro nowhere in sight. So that was very optimistic from myself. TTM Brizzy, I think, has overcutted Wexro. No, he hasn't. But Wexro has done a nice undercut, gained a bit of time to Shazoo Smokey. Aftiakos and Lurch will certainly be following them in this lap. Cypher now got the gap closing down. Wonder if he is actually gaining much time to the soft runners. It seems to me he is gaining around 2 tenths to Akos through that middle sector alone, and that is where the key turnover point is now in play. But Boots struggling to keep with the Alfa Romeo, both on similar ERS at this moment in time. So maybe, just maybe, Cypher does have the upper hand around this track. This could be a big dent, well, not a big dent, but a small dent in but Boots is leading this championship. Yep, he is out of that DRS range. So Cypher has done enough here. Oh my goodness me, what a save that was from PSR Boots, as he nearly goes spinning around there. He's going to have to use some more of that battery if he wants to get within that DRS range. But he's now down to less than 10%, and same with Rev Caterpillar here. These drivers have really been pushing hard. But it seems to me that Cypher... Oh no! No. TTM Lurch is now disconnected. Oh dearie me, I'll get him back in right away. I've gone past him, haven't I? There we go. Get him back in for everybody. That he does not deserve to be kicked out there. But unfortunately, he is behind his Mercedes colleague, and he would have been right behind him. But now he's going to fall down the order, and he is down to 50%, and the AI is draining that battery to defend from PSR Wextra, who's going to go darting around the outside. The AI going down the inside. Unfortunately, Lurch now behind the AlphaTauri driver, who is going to still be using that overtake. That is a real shame for TTM Lurch, who is now back in this race. Got to settle himself down now, and he's got to re-close down that gap to Cypher, who's in the lead. We'll get the interval up to the leader, hopefully when it fixes himself this lap. Cypher's won, yep, I'd say so, unless there is a late safety car. Seems to me he has the optimum pace around this track, really seems hooked up around here. After a disappointing race at Australia, and Mexico is looking to put some big points on the board here tonight. That is for sure. But the question is, will Boots be able to hang in there and not lose too much points, as everybody else behind him on the medium tyres will be looking to make up some ground. And there goes Smokey around the outside. Nicely done there from the British driver. Shazoo Sam and Fingerboy finding it out there, and Shazoo Sam, easy as you like down the inside, as Sarv Legend looking to close in as well to get past. Nicely done there from the Haas driver. TTM Lurch applying the pressure now to Wexro for good battery advantage goes in favour of the Mercedes here. Sarv Legend getting a penalty. That is a shame for him. M-Racer really needs a miracle here if he wants any chance of getting back in this race. Not too far back from TTM Rizzy, to be fair. Being a good effort so far from the Williams driver. But Wexro down to 17%. I think it'll just be a matter of time before... TTM Lurch going a bit wide. I was about to say it'll be a matter of time before Lurch gets back past the PSR owner, who actually let go of TTM Lurch. So I think he'll be looking to make a statement here tonight with a good result and finishing in front of him. At the moment it is Cypher who leads comfortably from PSR Boots, who has not been able to make any dent on his lead ever since he has broken the DRS. It's just been extension after extension from the Alfa Romeo, and I say that TTM Lurch making a nice move down the inside. Now it's SLR Oz out of this race. I thought maybe TTM Lurch is a bit too far back, and could this bring out a safety car? I don't think it will, since the driver is off the track and well out of the way, and there's been contact, I believe, with Fingerboy and Sarv Legend. I'm not too sure. He has. Sarv Legend front wing damage there for the Aston Martin. A real shame. Another WOR driver getting involved in an accident. Real shame for those guys here tonight. The Portugal curse continuing here tonight. At the moment it is all stalemate in the midfield area. Nothing really playing out. Shazoo Sam looking to close in on Rev Caterpillar, down to less than 10%. SRL Oz really did not have a really good performance, as he was on a really good strategy at one point. Unfortunately just didn't have the race pace to really utilise that, as Fingerboy and Sarv Legend go diving into the pit lane. The question is, will TTM Lurch have the pace here to make any inroad on Shazoo Smokey? He's going to have to show some good pace here if he's going to make any kind of dent to the potential net race leader in a way. If these guys on the hards do pit again, that will be the question, which needs answering later on. 3 seconds is the gap for Lurch when he is about less than a second behind. That is heartbreaking stuff for the Mercedes man. We'll keep an eye on that gap, see if he makes any inroads on Shazoo Smokey. But at the moment it's Cypher who comfortably leads on 30% of the ERS. Same with Boots, both managing their ERS well. But it seems to me that Cypher had the upright pace advantage over his PSR colleague here tonight. Makes some things interesting for the championship though, with M-Racer not scoring any big points. Same with Rexwo. Rexwo just scoring some points, averaging some points, so it'll extend to will extend to M-Racer. But I believe with this result, Cypher will now jump back up into second place, with Rexro going down to P3, with M-Racer down to P4. So again, the championship takes another twist in the tail. 2 seconds now, the gap from Cypher and Boots. Through that last sector is where, for me, where Cypher does extend most, and at this moment in time as well, the gap from Smokey and Lurch is extending. So it tells me that Lurch is really not pushing too hard, maybe just trying to manage his tyres or wait for a mistake from Smokey. Will Smokey even get a podium? That is a good question. It's on the table, but 7 seconds. He'll need those hard runners to really struggle with the pace. Remember, Shazoo Sam and Rev Caterpillar both have the 3 second time penalty So that could be interesting. Cyber Legend leaving the race, understandably, after that unfortunate incident with Fingerboy. Really, it's just a stalemate at this moment in time. No real drivers making any moves at this point in the race. So, understandably, a bit of a stalemate, and being the solo commentator is a bit difficult at this moment in time to think of some things to talk about. But across the season, it has been an interesting one with the twists and tales, and you never know, we could see another twist in the story of this season. You never know, PSR Boots could potentially spin round and bring out a late safety car. Who knows, it could still be all to play for with Rev Caterpillar right behind him. He could still maybe just want to fight for pride here more than anything, and he could still get a podium here as he's got a big enough gap for it. He's in quite a nice position as Fingerboy goes into the pit lane and does retire. Yep, sector 1 safety car, it says Fingerboy. Once again, as Rev Capital are going to go for the move, he has closed it a lot on PSR Boots this lap, but unfortunately just going against it. And that is Fingerboy. Oh my goodness me, I don't know why they do that. Why don't they just, whenever they retire, just keep them in the pit lane? Causes so much problems to the drivers there. But Smokey is making inroads on Shizu Piccolo. Would be interesting to see if Lurch should close down the gap and got into that DRS range. Would they work together and close down the gap a bit quicker? Because at the moment there is gaps between everybody, but really there's nothing really going on, shall we say. You'd think Smokey would be making more of an inroad now. 10 lap fresher tyres to the drivers in front. You'd really be thinking the medians would be lapping a bit quicker, and I say that he's just taken 5 tenths out of Piccolo's middle sector. But Rev Caterpillar will stick on board with the Alpine. It's looking to me like he's looking to make a move on the AlphaTauri driver, making a little bit of a mistake though, making the gap to around 6 tenths through turn 15. Boots just doing enough again for this lap to extend, probably enough to stay in front of the Alpine driver. 4 tenths is the gap now, but unfortunately nothing Rev Capital can do. He is looking to go for the move, but fortunately he ran out of road, ran out of straight, which is a real shame, because he did use some of that battery, which is not easy to get back, and he nearly, having a snap of oversteer there, nearly puts himself into the walls there. So very good save from the Alpine driver, as I say once again. But Rev Caterpillar really is looking to make a move relatively soon. Smokey now down to 5 seconds to Piccolo, so he is making good progress now on the McLaren in front, and Lurch really hasn't been able to match that kind of pace. And same with Wexro. He's now 5 tenths back as well, really just doing enough to stick with the Mercedes. 4.5 is now the gap for Smokey. He's really lighting up the times now. It is going to get interesting near the end of this race. Will the hards make it, ladies and gentlemen? That is the question. Tell me down below, do you guys believe the hard runners will make it? That's another question in itself, if they do or do not. So you never know how this all will play out. 4.4 is the gap on lap 21 here. But Rev Caterpillar again 4 tenths back, nothing he can do. Really needs to work on that last sector if he wants any chance of getting past the championship leader at this moment in time. And he braking late, but nothing at this moment in time, nothing really working for the FRT driver. But at the moment just applying enough pressure to keep Boots thinking rather more than anything. TTM Lurch again making a little bit more of an inroad this lap, being forced into using some of that battery from PSR Extra. So maybe, just maybe, we might see some moves from some of these drivers now as the medium runners really start to make a move on. 3.7 is the gap now, so it's picking up now. I think the mediums are looking like the better tyre now to be on, so it'll be interesting to see how these guys in the hards at the front are going to be able to nurse their tyres to the end here. Do you guys think they'll make it? That's another question in itself. But Cypher is comfortably cruising to an easy win, and it is Piccolo who makes a move on Suzu Sam, who gets rid of those hards already. So that's interesting, a really good indication. Maybe, just maybe, these hards will not make it here to the end here, ladies and gentlemen. So barely people are predicting. That's it. I would agree. I think they'll just they'll need some Codemasters luck if their tyres do decide to make it to the end. But Rev Capella, of course, still has that 3-second time penalty, but is well and truly clear off Shazoo Piccolo. Smokey down to 3.1 seconds. The medium runner is looking fine at this moment in time. But yeah, as we wait to see if any other hard runners do decide to pit, we'll get the interval for the leader now. So it is 14 seconds really from Shazoo Smokey to Cypher. So Cypher would not be safe to get out in front of the AlphaTauri driver. Rev Caterpillar again trying to apply some pressure to PSR Boots, but again, that last sector really has been letting him down here tonight. Really hasn't been able to get close enough, but he's really confident through this first sector. This is where the Englishman gets really, really close to the PSR driver. But again, Boots somehow just gets a nice slingshot of an exit through turn 3 there and just pulls enough of a gap so that he's just about safe from the Alpine driver. Piccolo now has got to be checking those mirrors because he probably can see Shazoo Smokey, who is closing in, and he is closing in quite fast now. 5 tenths he's gained in total this lap alone, so he's doing alright. The Shazoo driver now in the main team really is applying the pressure, and I feel there'll probably be some team orders at Shazoo here to say, let Smokey go. The question is, will Piccolo let him by? I think he will, because he won't want to ruin his own race here, Piccolo, because he's still in a really good position to pull off a great result. And the gap now up to 7 seconds from Boots to Cypher, and ever since Cypher has broken the DRS, it has really been domination from now on, and that's a real shame for Boots, because I feel like he was going to hope for another race win here tonight, make it 6 to the tally, I believe, here at Portugal. Shazoo Sampen in the first lap of the race, and Embracer now down to P11. Shazoo Sam getting a nice move on the Williams driver. Nothing he can really do about it though, unfortunately. TTM Rizzi and Akos going out in a little fight here for P8. The Red Bull man not finding a way through off the Alpine driver from FRT. Through turn 8 there. Nothing going for the Red Bull man, but he is applying that pressure. So Chandler here says he should go Cypher should go softs. So it's going to be interesting. Smokey is closing in. But the question is, will these guys make it to the end? Through turn 14 now goes Smokey, and he can see the Mercedes in front of him now. The McLaren, sorry, in front of him there. 1.7 is the gap, and he'll be closing in and getting that DRS relatively soon. But the gaps are quite broad now, quite wide enough. Maybe, just maybe, Cypher can maybe lose some time, if that makes sense, but to manage his tyres to the end from now, it would make sense, like you say guys in the chat, he surely would have pitted by now to make it work, because the soft maybe actually no, I think he's probably made the right decision, because the softs do die out around lap 7ish, lap 8 I'd say, so they're not a long lasting tyre really around here, where they're in their prime. I think around lap 8-9 there, that's probably the last bit, so maybe he's just trying to make them last. So yeah, surely it'd be this lap or next lap I'd probably see him diving into the pit lane. TTM Rizzy pitting, not pitting, getting a penalty for his troubles there after his battle with Akos, unfortunately. Now out of contention of getting in front of the Alpine driver. Shazoo Smokey just nearly within that DRS range. Is he going to get it on the detection point? No, he's not. So he has to agonisingly wait another lap here. But Smokey has been a class off his own at this moment. Ever since he broke that DRS from TTM Lurch, he had that unfortunate disconnect. Lurch has really not been able to make any inroads on the driver in front. But another driver who's applying the pressure is Wextro. Lurch now down to less than 10%. But Wextro is in a good position to maybe go on the attack, maybe send a dive bomb into turn 5. We'll have to wait and see. Doesn't opt to use the battery there, which is interesting. Maybe playing the patient game and waiting in the long run. But Rizzy is closed in a little bit more on Akos now through that first sector, with the help of the DRS, of course. Really playing a nice advantage. But now Shazoo Smokey is in that DRS range off Piccolo, and I don't think Piccolo will make his life any harder than it needs to be, and I probably will let him go relatively easily. But through turn 14 now, Smokey will want to get past Piccolo as soon as he can. He's got the better tyres, the better grip. Now through to the final corner of turn 15, taking a wide line to keep a narrow line to the end, to get the best slingshot of an exit. And now the DRS is enabled. Already losing so much battery life, and he hasn't even touched his battery down that main straight. Nothing he can do. That's the only issue around Portugal. It burns so much of that battery down that main straight. Now through turn 3 and now turn 4. So a lot of drivers do tend to lose the car due to oversteer. That curb is tending to spin a lot of drivers out, but Smokey is agonisingly going to have to wait another lap here, potentially, to get the move done. Or will he go for it down the inside into turn 7? We'll have to wait and see. Or will he opt for it to turn 8? No, he decides to stick behind. Smart driving from the Mercedes man. But you can just see the grip advantage that he has on Piccolo, who is really struggling out there. And he's going to go for it surely down the inside. No, he does not. Once again, just playing it patient, which is a sign of an intelligent driver, which some of these Tier 2 drivers really should look out for. Being patient works in the long run, and that is really what Smokey is doing really well at this moment in time, because now he's going to get an easy move down the main straight after turn 15 here, and there will be nothing Piccolo can really do about it, because he's got basically the same ERS as Smokey here. It's going to be an easy move for Smokey. Going to go down the inside, and now that is him up into P4. The question is, will he be able to close up on the likes of Rev Caterpillar and PSR Boots here? Lap 28 now, so it's not too long to the end of this race, but he has got a guaranteed podium here, so unless he gets a penalty. So the question is, Axe, unfortunately, I think your prediction of will he get a podium, I think it's going to be coming true here. So yeah, nicely done there from you, Axe. It was a mini prediction, I'd say. More of a question, but it was sort of a prediction in a sense, because you thought of it, so I gave you that in a way. But Rev Caterpillar, again, has just been stuck behind the rear end of this AlphaTauri for very, very long. Lap 28 of 33 now, and he'll be looking to want to get a move on surely near the end to really protect himself from Shazoo Smokey from any potential threat. We'll keep the delta, the interval from P4 to P3, and then we'll switch to the leaders once that he is in that train to really see how much it closes down from here on out.
for Tom. Just really unfortunate race for FRT Tom here tonight. After that lap 1 incident, that was the most dramatic thing ever. If Boots is smart, he keeps Rev in his DRS to protect him from Smokey. That is certainly true. But once Smokey gets close enough, I feel like he'll be using some of that battery, and he'll be forcing Rev into some mistakes, or forcing him into going for a move. And that is where things will get a bit interesting from the two drivers around him. So we'll have to wait and see how this all plays out. Smokey now got it down to less than 2 seconds here. So keep that in mind. This could all still kick off late on. Lap 29, I believe it'll be lap 31 when Smokey will be in the DRS, or it'll be next lap. It won't be too long before the Mercedes man is in that DRS. But you can see the hards are starting to wear and tear on those front tyres. You can see on the left hand side and the right hand side, they are certainly in the high 50s to potentially 60s area now. So it won't be too long to, maybe we might see some punches as well. So maybe keep an eye out for that one here, ladies and gentlemen. 2 seconds is the gap. This is where Smokey does lose all that time down this main straight. Akos and Rizzy having a fight, and Rizzy has finally got past Akos here. Nicely done there from the Red Bull man. He's been patient all night, and he's finally got that move done. So good job for him. But Rev Caterpillar, I think, is actually going to be helping out PSR Boots here, because he is saving that battery and he isn't actually opting to use anything. So maybe he is going to decide to protect Boots, but you never know. I feel Rev Caterpillar should surely try and pressure Boots into getting a penalty more than anything here. 1.6 is the gap. Again, it'll probably be lap 31, like I said before. Smokey gets in that DRS range, but it seems to me his tyres are certainly starting to fade away here. On that front right, you can see some graining. So it seems to me it's not long before these mediums really start to fade away. 1.3 around the final corner. The gap will just massively extend now through turn 15 as the DRS is enabled for the drivers in front. 1.4, now 1.5. It's going to be probably around 1.7 before turn 1 at least, and it is. So that gap really does extend down that main straight, and there's nothing Smokey can really do about it. He just has to rely on his mediums working in the optimum window for as long as possible here. But Rev Caterpillar is getting close. Will he go for it? No, again, he's being patient. I think he's managing his tyres more than anything here, and this is really smart driving from Rev. You can see Boots is struggling, and on lap 31 now, Shazoo Smokey is probably going to be in that DRS range. As you can see, Boots is really struggling here. Maybe he has a slow puncher potentially on the front side. No, it doesn't look like it. Just seems to me the wear is extremely bad. Cypher really just has to manage his tyres now to the end of this race, as if PSR Boots are struggling this badly with the fronts, maybe overheating potentially here due to how much wear and tear on those tyres. He's got to be careful about it. He doesn't want to lose out too much time, and I did say on lap 31 Shazoo Smokey would get into that DRS range. It's now on to lap 32 for Cypher, who's going to get a fantastic win, making these hards last to the end. And now surely Rev Caterpillar is surely going to go for the move into turn 1, isn't using any of the battery, and it's an easy move for Rev Caterpillar. Easy pickings for the Alpine driver, and Boots is going to have to be going defensive here. And will he go for the move? Shazoo Smokey having to think better off it, but he's going to go for a wide line to get the slingshot of an exit, and he's going to try and apply the pressure here to PSR Boots. He's going to have to make the move now. It is, oh my goodness me, I'm not sure what just happened there. Bit of lag there for Shazoo Smokey. He goes darting down the inside. Bit of contact made between the two. I think there's a bit of lag on Smokey's side there that caused that, unfortunately. But yeah, good effort there from Smokey, as he is starting to lag, maybe making a clip or two, really starting to hinder his performance. And Boots is going to be under pressure now through turn 10 and 11. You can see on my screen how much the lag is there for Shazoo Smokey, but he's only got this lap. He's got one last lap to do it here, ladies and gentlemen. Will he get onto that front row? We'll have to wait and see. It's been a great performance from the Mercedes man, who has decided to go for a different strategy, but Cypher has just been in a class of his own here tonight and really has just pulled away from the rest of the field really emphatically here tonight. Now, the DRS is being used by both drivers. Smokey hasn't got anything left in the tank, nor has PSR Boots, but Rev Caterpillar has managed his DRS beautifully for these final few laps compared to the drivers behind him. But Smokey is going to have to go for something very, very optimistic if he's going to want to steal P2 away from PSR Boots. But I think, to me, that his tyres have just given way now. So that one mistake due to his poor internet has really cost him a P2 here tonight. He's going to have to go for an optimistic move into turn 7 and 8, most likely. And that will be brave if he's going to have to pull that one off. He's going to have to be right and close behind the rear end of that AlphaTauri. Unfortunately not giving in. But he's got one more opportunity through turn 10 and 11. Through turn 9 now. Surely he's going to have to go for a late line dive, and he was thinking about it. Through turn 11, nothing really paying off. You can see he is pushing that car to the absolute max right now. Now through the final few corners now, surely PSR Boots has got this in the bag. It'll be an optimistic dive for Jesus Smokey, but nothing he can do. Cypher wins here in Portugal in dominant fashion. Absolutely incredible job from him. And now Rev Caterpillar gets a great P2 on track, but will drop down to P4. But it is PSR Boots who hangs on to P2, Smokey in P3, Rev Caterpillar in P4, Piccolo in an impressive P5, with PSR Wextra in P6, beating TTM Lurch to the line there. Great job from him. Unfortunately, Lurch having that disconnect really did hinder his race from there on out. The man who was P2 finished in P7, who'll be a bit frustrated about that one, with FRT Akos in an incredible P8, with Rizzy in P9, Jesus Sam in P10, and M Racer in P11. Very interesting race to say the least here tonight. But yeah, thank you to everybody who has stuck with me here tonight. It's been a bit of a stop-starter one, not much action here tonight, unfortunately, but sometimes it doesn't go your way on the commentary side of things. But it is the American Cypher who wins, gets pole, and he led from start to finish after the pit stop phase. Incredible job from the Alfa Romeo, who's now up into P2 in the championship, but crucially for PSR Boots, he extends over his rivals after a brilliant P2 from P3. Jesus Smokey in P3 there to his championship and world of good as well. Rev Caterpillar in P4 with Piccolo in P5. Wextro disappointing in P6, but a good recovery from a disappointing qualifying. TTM Lurch will be kicking himself after that one with that disconnection, with Akos in P8, Rizzy in P9, Jesus Sam in P10, with M Racing a disappointing P11, the final finisher. But that'll be it from me here tonight. Hopefully you'll hear from me next week, pending I am available, which I should be, but you never know in the world of league racing. So until then, we'll see you then. Goodbye.